Hi, welcome to Teen Talks. Today we'll be talking about the third commandment. Hi, I'm Sky, and I recently got a guitar because I'm trying to learn that. I'm not very good at it yet, but I'm working on it. But the fun fact for today is that the moon has moonquakes, like little moon earthquakes.
Hi, I'm Sarah.
Hi, I'm Sky, and today we're going to be talking about the third commandment in the Ten Commandments, the don't take God's name in vain.
Right, and so one of the things that we normally think when we hear this commandment is don't cuss, right?
Yeah.
So what comes to mind when you hear,
Well,
don't take God's name in vain? What have you been told?
it's like, don't say, oh my God, or don't say, like, just anything exclamatory using God's name, just kind of.
Okay.
What I got told once is that it's like calling God's attention to things that don't really matter. So it's like you don't want to like disrupt him from what he's doing.
He's too busy for that.
Yeah, basically.
Okay. I wonder what things don't matter to God. That's like a topic for another day.
It really is. But
I'm like stuck on that now. I'm like, I want that. What the things that don't matter to God? Okay, just like real quick. I'm like, I don't think he cares what kind of ice cream you eat.
Yeah.
So, but like,
what if he does? What if it's like? What if one's unhealthier than the other one and he wants to like...
he created it all.
That's a good point, but like humans kind of like mess things up a lot. We just kind of like tweak things around.
Maybe like fruit flavors are healthier. Cause,
yeah, exactly. Get like some vitamins in there, versus,
I really don't think he cares what ice cream you eat. Maybe like moderation.
Probably. Not like a bunch of Rocky Road or something like that.
But back to like God's name in vain and cussing. One of the things that... it means, like, taking God's name in vain is treating God's name like it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
And so, in a way, cussing can do that, too. You're just throwing around the name, like, I don't know, God's... I don't want to say it, because, like, I feel like I would be taking his name in vain by, like, making it meaningless. But it's, like it's a rock, or it's just something ordinary.
Yeah.
Something that's not incredibly important, incredibly special.
Yeah.
And God actually revealed his name to us, which is really a big deal. Like God wanting us to know him. And so for us to treat his name like it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I think that's more than cussing.
Yeah. I think so.
But yeah, just treating it like it's worthless.
Plus, like, biblically, like, you weren't allowed to say the name. Like, isn't it, there's a thing you had to, like, get a different pen or, like, wash your pen in between transcribing God's name because it was so sacred. Yeah, I didn't
we talked about this, like, 2 years ago or something.
But yeah, it's just so sacred that
so sacred.
You just have to take care when using the name. You couldn't say God's name. It's, like, written in all caps when it's said.
It's written in all caps. They leave out the vowels. Like, it's and yeah, like you said, they would switch out pens because it's so holy. This happened when they were copying the scripture.
Exactly.
But yeah, but there's so many different names for, like, God isn't the name of God, and yet when we speak of God, we use that as God's name. Elohim, Adonai, like all these are different names for God, and the idea is to just not throw it around meaninglessly.
Exactly.
So another thing you were sharing earlier about a phrase that you kids use these days.
There's an expression that's like, oh, like, I didn't do this on God. Like, that's just the phrase. It's just saying, like, oh, like, I really didn't do this. Like, on everything. Like, people will say that. And, like, is that...
On everything? Not even just on God?
Yeah, but that's, like, basically what's implied.
On my parents.
Like, yeah, basically on God, on everything.
On my homework.
On my homework. But, like, just saying honesty, like, oh, like, I'm really, really serious this time, guys, or whatever. But, like... Is that bad? Is that necessarily a bad thing to use it?
I think that's so interesting that you bring that up, because in the Old Testament there's a phrase you're going to see over and over, and I believe it translates something close to "as surely as God lives," which doesn't make any sense if you think about it. Like, as surely, of course, God lives. Yeah. But what they're saying is they're like making a vow, and they're just saying, like, I promise, like, this is as true as God's existence is true.
Yeah. That's a big claim.
It's a big claim. And so, like, saying on God, like, I don't feel like my generation had a phrase that was comparable to that, and yours does. So I find that really fascinating. It's like it's come, a biblical vow has come back to modern life. But is it bad? It's bad in the sense that your word isn't believable on its own.
Yeah. So if it's dishonestly using this thing.
Well, but even like my generation would say something like, "No, I swear." Mm-hmm. Well, why do you have to swear? Like, why? Like, do you lie most of the time? And so, like, all of a sudden, this is actually true, or this is more true. But there's no such thing as more and less true. Either it's true or it's not true.
Yeah, I feel like also the popularity of the phrase has like increased with sort of. People don't, like, their yes doesn't necessarily mean yes, and their no doesn't necessarily mean no. It's like, everything's kind of taken, like, as a joke or something like that, and it just kind of makes it difficult to differentiate honesty, and having to have a phrase where you have to, like, bring God or bring everything into it, it's just kind of emphasizes the fact that there's so much, to some degree, disinformation, and a little bit of dishonesty with a lot of things that people say. Like,
it's interesting because Jesus spoke about the commandment and kind of what you're saying about letting your yes be yes and your no be no. He says, don't swear on heaven because it's God's throne, or on earth because it's God's footstool.
Yeah, exactly.
But let your yes be yes and your no be no. Basically, you say something, mean it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So our question for today is, do you follow through with what you say you'll do? Like, does your yes mean yes and your no mean no? So just think about it and try to make sure that your yes does actually mean yes. Thanks for being with us today. We hope to see you next time. Bye! That's it, right?
That makes sense. I mean, because, like, Earth has earthquakes, so the moon has moonquakes.
Yeah, but, like, that's kind of like, whoa, it just vibrates.
So you could say that the Earth has big moonquakes, because you said the moon has
So does Mars have Marquakes?
I mean, you're the one with the fun facts. I'm just the one with, like, stupid responses.